1st June 1963, a befitting start to freedom and economic prosperity for Kenya.
Good luck to Kenya in her new role as an independent nation.
A day commemorated annually. The day Kenya attained self-rule. Kenya has undergone profound changes in its political, social, and economic systems.
Wale walikuwa wakati wa koloni wanajua kusema madaraka ni kusema nini. Na ningeomba serikali itie maanani mambo ya madaraka day ili wale wako shida wajulikane ni shida gani wanayo ili wawe wakisaidiwa kabisa. Ikiwa ni mambo ya mshahara, ikiwa ni mambo ya economy, iangaliliwe kabisa ili mwananchi wa kawaida awe ameridhika na anafurahia serikali yake.
Those who lived through this period, paying the price of freedom, including members of the Mau Mau, probably appreciate this day the most.
My name is Geto Wakahengeri. I am a Kenyan. I am one of the freedom fighters who liberated this country from the colonial yokes. And I am still living, loving, helping my people of Kenya. It was worthy. It's a great victory. Because Kenya today is a free country. But the Mau Mau freedom fighters tried their best. They sacrificed their wealth, they sacrificed their body strength, they sacrificed their intelligence, and to the extremity, they sacrificed their lives in order that this country be free.
Even as Kenya marks its 58th year since independence from Great Britain, a lot still remains to be done. If Singapore and South Korea, which were in a worse state than Kenya in 1963, are anything to go by.
Countries like Singapore, for example, the Lee Kuan Yew and the people that were around him were extremely focused on what they wanted. They wanted to change the country, and change they did. From an income of lower than Kenya in 1965 per capita income, because our per capita income was about $250 and theirs was about $230. From those numbers is now $16,000 as opposed to $1,000, which means is among the rich countries in the world, yet Kenya remains at the bottom of the pile.
It's important to point out what is working. It's good to appreciate. It's like saying this much is good, but this needs to be done. But we have a blanket way of saying we are comparing. Now we are willing to compare without willing to pay the price. Don't compare yourself with the neighbors if you're not willing to do what the neighbors did. For example, 58 years on, we still refer to each other by tribe. Who did that to us? Nobody. We did that to ourselves. Once we refer to each other by tribe, we structure our economy, our relationships, our outputs in the same mode. As long as we do that, we don't need an enemy.
Kenya finds itself in the same place the Jews were in immediately after leaving Egypt, out of Egypt, but needing to be free from Egypt. However, religious freedom has.
By the time Israel was leaving Egypt, they had been slaves for 430 plus years. So they had been slaves that long. So a number of things happen to you when you've been slaves that long. One of the things that happens to you is that you lose your identity completely. You lose who you are. You have no idea where you're headed to. In fact, you reach a place of conflict because you're being freed to go where? You're being free to go do what? You've only known slavery. What else can you do? So it took a lot. That's why God had to use so many concepts. One of the things God said was, let's not use the shorter route. Because if we use the shorter route and they find a crisis, they will return. So God took them through a longer route. Why was the route important? To get rid of the Egypt mentality, the slave mentality in them, to make it possible for them to be able to embrace where they are going. They had no picture of where they were going. But also the wilderness had an assignment. The wilderness had an assignment not only to shed off who they were, but to begin to embrace who they should be. And so if you talk about Kenya and where we are coming from, I think this is our crisis. We may have come out of colonization, but we did not properly embrace our wilderness position. That was going to help us get identity.
One of the major prevailing challenges for the country since attaining self-rule is finding true independence in the political, social, and economic ways of doing things.
It has to do with our thinking, in the way we handle everything, that it's always about me, I and myself, and sometimes those that are around me. So that we now have a country like J.M. Kariuki feared in the early 70s, a country where we'll have 2 billionaires and 40 million paupers.
When you are a slave, what you desired most was either death or to be like your master. You didn't have another option. So when you come out of that environment, the only thing that you call, that's why there's such an obsession with say Kenyans, with materialism and ownership and land. These are the things that the colonizer owned, and that's why you think you can draw value from. That's not freedom. And what you don't understand is that if you acquire what he had, you'll have to behave like he behaved to maintain it. And that's our biggest problem.
Globally acclaimed for its vibrant mobile money transfer technology, Kenya is racing to create new growth drivers through Vision 2030 so as to position the country as a humming industrial economy. Debt is currently one of Kenya's biggest undoing, with a cumulative amount now at $7 trillion. The country has adopted a mix of infrastructure debt financing and public-private partnerships as it races to catch up with Asian giants such as Singapore and Malaysia, with which they were once at par.
If debt is commensurate with development, if debt is commensurate with production of goods, if debt is commensurate with the provision of services, there is nothing wrong with debt. Because when you're producing services, when you're producing goods, then it means that you can be able to pay your debt.
As the country celebrates the 58th year of self-rule, we thank God for protecting the country and strive to attain complete freedom as a people, including integrity and corruption.
We have enough resources in this country, and that's why the foreign countries continue siphoning it out of us. We have enough resources, and if we pull together as a people, as a country, we can actually be able to convert this country to be a Singapore, to be a Malaysia, to be a South Korea in the next 50 years. If we continue the way we are going, we'll still be poor for another 100 years.
Another sad thing about the wilderness is that why were they able to go 40 years in a distance they would have walked in 34 days? Why? Because shifting sand, you can't tell you've been here before. When the wind blows, you think this is a new spot, and you create new footprints. It's the exact same footprint you had put in place before. So, you truly want to be independent? Become one word, tribeless.
When we went to war with the British, we had a good vision. We wanted to liberate Kenya for the people of Kenya. And fortunately, we knew the boundaries of Kenya. Therefore, it is our duty to bring these people together, to work together, to laugh together, to eat together, and to develop their country together.